Hi guys, this is just E.
Don't get mad.
Cause I know you're down there somewhere deep, in places my mind couldn't fathom, seeing things that'll make you weak. Woo! If you're not strong enough to fight them. Yeah, definitely check it out. March 28th. Ah. I am really excited to do this. Thank you so much for joining me live on Facebook. If anybody could not make this Facebook live, I'm definitely going to have one posted on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook later on tonight at 7. So once the live video is over, I will be making a edited video and putting it up for everyone to see for long term. But if anyone does tune in today, thank you so much for tuning in. I am so grateful. Um, I really am just going in today doing behind the lyrics, and I am just going in and talking about my song Deep and what it means to me, what the meaning behind the lyrics are, and where they kind of came from, the inspiration behind this song. That's just a lot of what this is about, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to start off with the inspiration. Um, for me, this song was inspired because I was during a really hard time in my life where I was just getting out of being in the hospital for an extended period of time. And I was starting to realize all the negative coming at me and all the negative that I was spewing into the world. And there was a moment of realizing how important karma is, and realizing that, like, I was inflicting my own karma on people just as much as other people surrounding me were inflicting their own karma on me. And whether I was doing it as a survival technique because I was surrounded by it, whether I was doing it to other people and they were using it as a survival technique because they were surrounded by me with it, I'm really not sure. But what I do know is that it was happening, and it was causing me to be in a situation where I realized all the anger that was built up in me and how much of it I wanted to let go and how much of it I didn't want to harbor and hold on to the way that I was. So when I was making this song, I was honestly in the middle of having a really hard, I guess you could say, mental battle between, the person that I want to be versus the person I feel like I might need to be. And I realized that I don't really need to be anybody or anything for anyone. I just need to be for me. And I just need to be what I want to be. And when I started kind of realizing that and not trying to appease other people in my life, um, I kind of grew this theory of just karma. Why get angry when I know that karma's out there and she does her job well? If somebody treats me wrong, if somebody's mean to me, if somebody goes out of their way to hurt me in any way, I don't need to take it personal. I don't need to go and attack anybody or get angry or frustrated, because the reality is, they're going through their own pain and their own hurt, and there's a good chance that whatever they're going through has nothing to do with me, and it's just a reflection of what their life is, or what they've known or have been raised to know. So there's no reason to take it personal, and there's no reason to get angry. Instead, just let it go. Accept the fact that whatever they're going through is whatever they're going through. Whatever negative emotions it just brought in you, focus on that and figure out why that even happened. Why did they even affect you? Focus on that and live in this world of peace, feeling like, oh, you know what? That's why it affected me, and that doesn't matter. So I can be happy and move on. And being able to do that is probably the best karma you could ever get. That's just my true, honest belief in that. So sorry for talking your ear off about karma and about where the concept came from and why it's so important to me for this song to really bang and be out there. And I want it to be a banger where you're dancing and you're enjoying life, and thinking, like, you know what, all those people who tried to bring me down, look at me now, I'm having a good time. And that's what this song is for me. That's what I hope it does for other people. So now to break into the lyrics. All right, so I'm gonna play a little.
Don't get mad. It happened in the end. No need for revenge. You will find peace at mind. As I'll reassure you that I know you've done this already.
All right. So this part of the song is at the perspective of, like, talking to the other person. You know, you're telling yourself, like, don't get mad. It happens. In the end, no need for revenge. You will find peace of mind. I think it's pretty self explanatory. There's just no reason to get mad. There's absolutely no reason to get mad because, in the end, they're only winning if you get mad. You know what I mean? And that's where karma comes in. Even though I don't ever actually say the words karma in this song, it's implied heavily in the sense that you will find peace of mind knowing that karma's out there doing her job really well. So, on to the chorus.
In places my mind couldn't fathom, seeing things that'll make you weak. If you're not strong enough to fight them, those cries at night make you weep. Don't think that I don't hear them. A little lullaby to sleep, something to fight and counteract them.
Okay, so the chorus. I know you're down there somewhere deep, in places my mind couldn't fathom, seeing things that'll make you weep if you're not strong enough to fight them. So this is like a biblical sense. This is more of like if you believe in religion, or if you believe in there's an afterlife, or if you believe that there is consequences in your next whatever it is, and next form of energy. That's a good way to say it. In your next form of energy, if you believe there's any consequences that you build up in this lifetime that will go on to your next form of energy, that's kind of where this part comes in. You know, whether you're someone who believes in a place that you go to, like hell. You know, I hate to put that word out there because I know it's an intense word, but it's really kind of like, honestly, in that sense, you know, of somebody who I personally believe also in some ways somebody's hell is maybe locked in their mind. Like if you were to pass and your energy leaves your body and all you have are those thoughts and those memories and that energy, you know, if you have negative thoughts and memories and negative emotions running through you and you're full of regret and frustration and anger and anxiety and overwhelm, then that's the stuff that's going to leave with you. That's the energy that's going to fly out of you, and that's where it's going. That's what's going to go wherever it goes next. And so that's kind of where that statement comes from. Knowing that like there is, you know, if you were to escape it your whole entire life, that there is a place that's designed for people like that, if you believe in that sort of thing. And then those cries at night that you weep, don't think that I don't hear them. A little lullaby to sleep, something to fight and counteract them. So, you know, this is a statement on both ends, but mostly the idea that most of those people who put pain out into the world and hurt really do it because they're feeling pain and they're hurting. And that doesn't make it right at all, but it can give you some peace of mind knowing that they're not just living life okay. They're not just happy. I mean, there are certain people out there, not really, I forget if it's a sociopath or a psychopath, but I think it's a sociopath that doesn't actually feel sorry for things. But either way, you know, for besides for the small percentage out there, the average amount of people out there, the normal, the people, the person that you end up like meeting on a daily basis that comes and goes in your life, you know, just random people, normally they're not bad people. And if they are in some way trying to inflict some type of pain and they are going around looking for some way to manipulate and get ahead in a negative way, just know that their mind is not at ease and they are not, you know, maybe not physically crying out loud, but their heart is breaking and they're not doing well either, and they don't have any support because everything they do is out of manipulation and out of hurt, and therefore they only attract manipulation and hurt. And that's kind of where karma comes in again. It's that reminder that everything is about what you give. So when somebody's giving you negative and you perceive it and you just throw it out into the world, you're going to get more back, because you're going to get attitudes from people. You're going to get people that's going to receive that and give it back. But if you were to get that and be one of those people who brush it off and let it ground it, I like to think of it as grounding. If I feel the anger, I feel it inside me, I'm just like, instead of it coming out, let it ground and go out my feet, into the ground, back into the earth where it needs to be, you know? And that's kind of more of a holistic sense and a little more of a, you know, what's the right word? Not holistic, but well, holistic is the right word, but you know, just a more of a spiritual sense. Oh my god, I can't believe I couldn't think of that word. All right, so let's see. And then also, I forgot to say, and then also when at the end it says a little lullaby to sleep. that line is simply to say, for some of the people who have experienced hurt and pain, who are on the other side of the stick, that are have been wronged and feel the need to exact revenge and are trying to go against it and trying not to act on that. You know, your tears are like a lullaby. They are like a little way to get out the hurt and get out the pain. And the whole point of that line is really to say, like, do not hold yourself back from your feelings. If somebody inflicts negative feelings on you, not letting them affect you or not letting them get to you doesn't mean that you don't feel them. It means that you don't act on them. It means that you don't let that feeling change who you are as a person and change the person that you are trying to be on a daily basis. If you're trying to be the best person you're trying to be, that's not going to affect you. You are going to feel it though. You know what I mean? And I always encourage people to feel it and to do whatever emotion, experience whatever emotions you need to feel to get it out. And I find that crying, it could be a big form of healing. And I think that it could really um, help you express a lot of how you're feeling without having to put words to it and without having to try to understand it. And you can just cry and let it out. And so that's where that little part comes in at the end. So let's get into the second verse. Alright, so the second verse says, it's not that bad. Life happens. In the end, if life don't bend, you must find peace at mind. So that kind of alliterates what I was saying in the beginning, in the sense that you like don't get mad, reminding you that don't get mad doesn't mean like you don't feel the emotions, but that you don't let it affect you like that. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad is kind of saying like the other half of that, like, yes, don't get mad, but why? Because it's really not that bad. 9 times out of 10, the things that get us angry are small emotional moments that come in us that we cannot control, and that is a natural part of life because we are meant to communicate with each other. We're meant to find communities, and we're meant to be social creatures. So in the sense of that, you know, life isn't that bad. You know, if you look at everything as a whole, the little things that bother you throughout the day, the little things that people do to you, there's a good chance that a lot of that has to do with something internal. You know, and if you start asking yourself, like, why is this making me angry, versus why are they doing that, you can actually start to nitpick and go pinpoint exactly like around why it makes you angry. It could be something that ties into your past. It could be the way that people treat you today. It could be a specific person that triggers you, and that's like something that reminds you of that person. You could realize that you have a mental health, something that you need to work on, some type of mental insanity that you need to focus on. That's what I like to call them. And so, you know, when you start to look at it that way, and you can pinpoint those things, then those people stop really hurting you. It doesn't like affect you as much. Like, say for an example, someone says something about your race. You know, that's a community that you identify with, and therefore you're going to take it personal. But understanding that that's why you're taking it personal, not because they're saying something personal to you, but because you're identifying yourself with a group that they are talking about, and you don't agree with what they're saying. Now you're able to look at it in a logical standpoint of view, and then kind of more argue a point, or say your point of view, or have some type of constructive criticism to give versus an emotional reaction. And so that's where I say life happens. You know, it's not that bad. Life happens in the end if life don't bend. Now that lyric right there, in the end if life don't bend, is about, though, you're always going, like, you're going to have people who perceive that very well, and you're able to have a constructive conversation. And not only will you be able to open someone else's mind to things that they would have never thought about in a way that they would have never thought about it, but they can also do that to you, because you also have to be open to hearing what they have to say if you want someone to hear what you have to say. You know, you got to be able to listen if you want to hear. So in the end, if life don't bend, if in the end, after all of that, this person is just stuck in their ways and they don't want to hear you, and they have their opinion, and they, you know, they're not going to be changing their opinion, well, that's kind of like where this statement comes. You must find peace of mind, that, you know, in the end they'll find they'll probably, you know, they have to deal with their consequences. That's really what it comes down to. Is in the end they have to deal with their consequences. It goes back into the chorus, which I've already explained the meaning, but really that's what it is. In the end, you have to deal with your consequences. So if you're constantly spewing out negative things, if you're getting ahead in a negative way, you're going to constantly have to be cleaning up messes, hiding lies. It's not a peaceful process to go through to try to be someone who's constantly, I'm gonna do some of this, who's constantly trying to hurt others. It's not going to help. Sorry, I thought I put some music on. But it's not going to help if you are. I'm saying not put music on because my brain cannot do both. I thought I could do both. I cannot. But yeah, I lost it. My creep squad. Woo! Creep squad. Alright, creep. Oh, it was really creep crew. Sorry. Creep crew. Anyway. So, yeah. I was saying, you must find peace at mind. So really, that's just me saying that you need to find some type of peace at mind and know that, you know, life happens and they're gonna go through what they're gonna go through and they're gonna deal with their consequences. And instead of trying to take on those burdens and feel angry, why are they doing this? Why are they acting this way? Why they are this way? Why did they get this reaction to me? How did they get this reaction to me? Instead of going through all this crazy stuff and like finding reasons to blame them and finding reasons to be mad at them, instead, you know what, say, you know what, you're going through whatever you're going through. I need to focus on me and find peace of mind in that. So, this is the third verse. A little lullaby to sleep. Something to fight and counteract. Don't get mad. Shit happens. In the end, why have revenge when you can find peace of mind? To know that down there somewhere deep. Okay, it's like my favorite part of the song. I'm not going to lie to you. So, this part of the song is basically saying it's not that bad. Once again, it's really just not that bad. And then it says shit happens instead of life happens, because in the same way that this actually really pertains to the world that we live in today. We tend to live in a technology-driven world. And a lot of us, when our technology goes wrong or when things don't go our way, it's always a why me situation, why me? I was the queen of that. I still have problems doing that and sometimes have to flip the switch in my head, but I know for a fact that it is not me. Shit happens. It has nothing to do with you. The universe just goes and you just get on one side of the stick or the other. We don't get a choice of it. And it's not about the choices that we have, it's about what we do with the choices. If you're going to constantly measure yourself on someone else's successes or someone else's opportunities or what other people have gotten or whatever, you're never going to succeed in whatever you're doing. And that's kind of what the point of this is. It shit happens, man. Like, it's not personal. When your phone bugs out on you and isn't sending that text message you want, that important email you need to send, whatever it could be, it has nothing to do with you. When things go wrong and haywire, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the fact that Murphy's Law, life happens. It's going to happen. If it can, it will. The best thing that you can do is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That is my number one go-to. I've been doing it for a really long time, and it has helped me get through a lot of situations, hard situations, financial situations, all of it. It's just prepare for the worst, hope for the best. And so this last chorus is kind of important because I do some ad-lib in this chorus. If you're not strong enough to fight those cries at night that you hear, don't think that I don't hear a little lullaby to sleep, something to fight and counteract. Alright, so I'm gonna bring these lyrics up, make sure I got them on my head. Alright. So this actually, this is the same chorus, same meaning, but the ad-lib is actually a little excerpt to those who inflict pain and who hurt. because like I said, I try to always look at things from both sides, both point of views. And one thing I try to always take, you know, a good absorption of is both ends of the story, both sides of a situation. And so, not only because I want to be an empathetic person, but also because it really does help you not take things personal and not feel so attacked if something happens, because you're like, okay, this is their mannerism, this is who they are, this is what they've been bred to believe, this is how their family is with them, so they're actually a lot better than their family, like whatever it is. And that isn't a way to accept the mannerisms. It's not. It's a way to not take them personal. Not taking something personal and not accepting things are two totally different things, in my opinion. If you were to not take something personal, it's to be able to disassociate yourself with your emotions towards it and say, you know what, that was not towards me, but we need to talk about this because that's not okay. And that's, so those are two totally different things. You want to make sure that when you are taking things personal, you really examine why and understand why before you react and feel the need to talk about it, because it just becomes more constructive. But like I said, this last chorus is about the other perspective, talking to the person who's inflicting pain and inflicting hurt, because I believe that they are going through their own pain, their own hurt. I believe the evil is made and not born, and I think that these lyrics are pertaining to them. It goes, "'Cause you're losing your mind, trying to fathom all that, seeing the truth all the time. You want to fight all the rest. I hear your cries. I'll take away what I can. Here's my lullaby. I sing to block out the bad." So, that's really pertaining to the fact that, like I said, a lot of those people are probably losing their mind. They're probably going crazy over something in their world that they can't really fathom or understand, and so they're acting and not really perceiving. And sometimes the perception is because they're seeing a truth that is real, but nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to be aware of, wants to admit to it. They want to play ignorant to it. Ignorant is bliss. And for them, being ignorant like the rest of society isn't bliss to them. And therefore, there's this frustration in them that causes them to have this anger and this pain that they put out into the world. And they want to fight all the rest, because they're trying to, in their mind, they're trying to enlighten, they're trying to help, they're trying to do something better to better the community, and nobody's listening to them. And that's what these lyrics are about. These are for those people who are really hurting on the inside, trying to communicate with people, and they keep getting turned down, and they can't understand why this isn't working, and it's just leaving pain and anger and frustration. And a lot of it is because we live in a society where we don't have patience, and we don't have the ability to really share any type of empathy, and we're all like really self-centered and trying to be our best selves without realizing that being our best selves also equates to putting out the best energy we can. And hear my lullaby, basically saying, like, hear this song, know that karma is real, think about change. Like, for people who maybe are hurting, think about changing and potentially seeing what life might be like when you start putting positive karma out into the world. And positive karma out in the world doesn't mean that you don't put yourself first. It just means that you're not looking to hurt people. You try to find ways to communicate in a way that it'll be perceived well. That's really all that it is. And I sing to block out the bad is just a simple statement that I make at the end that I think is very important for two reasons. Mostly, though, because the first reason is because music heals for a lot of people, and I'm one of those people. And if I can put on a song and I can zone out and think about that song and feel good about myself for a minute, or if it's not to distract myself but to understand my feelings, maybe I'm going through an emotion that I just cannot bear to deal with, and hearing a emo song or hearing an emotional deep song that sings about these emotions makes it easier for me to just feel them and deal with them and accept them. And I do think the music does that. And I think that a lot of the times when I'm going through stress or I'm having negative thoughts, I'll sing 100% to block out the bad. I'll sing a song, I'll hum a song, I will sing in my head without singing out loud. But most of the time I sing out loud. But overall, I sing to block out the bad, and that's the ending. And it's just as simple as that. Like, for all those people out there that use music to heal and use music to help and For maybe some who haven't tried it yet, definitely try it. And, find a song that, I'm going to say it like this, find a song that tickles your fancy. Find a song that tickles your fancy, that every single time you hear it, it makes some type of good vibes, whether it's joy, happy, laughing. It could be multiple songs for different situations. If you're someone like me who's been using music to heal for an extended period of time, you have specific songs for your breakups, for your job endings, for your girls' nights outs, for your relaxation days, whatever. So anything that motivates you, makes you feel good, makes you just stay on the path of just staying positive. As Katy Perry would say, help you pull out the weeds. Baby, it's focus. On the goal. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Oh, so grateful. But yeah. So I hope you guys liked my interpretation of Deep. I hope that it makes you think a little bit, and maybe you might have your own interpretations, or maybe some stuff that you think differently about the way the lyrics hit you. So definitely leave that in a comment when I drop this video. And check out the lyric video. It's online right now. It's on my YouTube channel, and I think I just recently put it up on Facebook. And then definitely check out the song. It's on all platforms. It's on YouTube, Spotify. You know what? Definitely check me out on Tidal. Check me out on Tidal. That's where you want to check me out right now. Check me out on Tidal. I'm on YouTube Music. If you got YouTube Music, Amazon, all the platforms, definitely check me out. And then look out for the music video. It's coming. Coming March 28th. Ooh. Thanks for tuning in. And oh, yes, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.